Hi, I think it's Rowea. I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly. But you can let me know in class. I'm just taking a look at your student profile. Looks like you're well organized, so that's good. What you might consider doing is creating new folders. So well, over here, right click. Actually, sorry, you would go new and folder. If you wanted to organize your lessons by lesson number, but you've got some good naming here, so that's all right. So I'm going to take a look at your student portfolio. Open it up. And so the first thing here is says, please rename the thing and then delete this sentence. So I'm going to do that. I've got your email there. And so I guess I'm going to take a look and we'll see what's happening. So you've put your self-grading in a different folder. And so you can engage with notebook, effort, challenges and growth, task completion. Um, Again, build your accessibility toolkit. This is very, yeah, this is very thoughtfully presented. That is the level of detail that I would say I would expect if you were looking at an A. And I don't mean like, it is up to you, but I, I'm kind of quality control, and you've given, I think, some really good rationalization here. All I would say is just to make life easy for me is to put the A there. That's great. So then we have the notebook activity, and I'm just going to take a look at that. And you've done it through links, which is much cleaner. And you uploaded a document, you explored it, so you're giving me an idea of what you have here. Prompt improvement, um, and you've linked to the learning goals. Now, um, you might give me a little more explanation here so I understand what you're trying to say. So enables consistent context useful for teaching roles. Expand on that. Give me a little more detail so that I know what you mean and that it because it feels a bit general at this stage. So keeping track of new features, reflections, the activity helped me see Gen AI is both powerful and risky. Okay, so I'm curious why it's a problem with privacy and ethical use. Oh, well, hold it. Maybe it's because of your document. You're kind of focusing on, oh no, wait a second. Yeah, so I'm wondering about that, why that is. And the one thing I would have liked you to do here is tell me a bit about the features that you actually looked at. So you did a mind map, but you didn't do an audio, you didn't generate an audio or a video. So this is kind of around, if I were saying it, kind of a B plus ish kind of a reflection. It's not as detailed as it might be, and it looks like you didn't use the tool as much as didn't expand on the features. That said, I know you put a lot of time into that, so I'm just giving you feedback, more reflection. Give me more in your writing so I understand what's going on, and also try to test out the full range of tools, not just the mind map. So here's the link to your uh, activity, your personal project, right? So this is the main focus, laying the foundation, specific tasks. That's all clear. I don't know how much time you spent on those, so that would be helpful. What you learned, um, learning goals. So this is your reflection. Um, and um, So this is actually, I think, a much deeper level. This is kind of moving into the A quality. You can see the your full sentence is talking about what's going on, um, and then began work, reflections there. Okay, so what would be helpful at this point is an actual link to your plan. Like what's the plan? So you're missing kind of a link to your personal project plan. And so I have some ideas here of what you're doing, but not about your timelines, your weekly plans. So you might want to use the prompts that I gave. They're in Canvas that would help you develop a richer plan. In this case, you didn't join the class, didn't attend the class, so that's a missed class. You're putting your resources here with articles. These are nice. Okay, so that's a very rich. That's like an A+ set of resources. Hopefully, you're um, putting them in the resource list. Now here I would probably assess this at more the B+ range because you miss class, and there is a video about how to make up that class if you wanted to fill in those contributions. Um, but I think you're well organized in the Notebook LM. Maybe a little more detail. I would say the prompt here is an A+ prompt, but I don't have a plan for your project. In week 2, um, okay, yeah, just make this a little smaller so I know it looks like a heading to me. Sorry, and here's your self-assessment with your grade. So to Gen AI, focus on ChatGPT and Notebook LM, personal first section that's good. You're making good progress. Very well articulated. So this is an A quality reflection, and that's exactly what I want. Let's just see. So the Gen AI activity for information literacy, um, task completed. Verifying scholar reliability. Okay, solutions, critical thinking. Okay, so again, this is really brief in your reflection. And so even though you spent over an hour and a half on this, it isn't reflected in your necessarily your learning here. It's a good articulation of the tasks you did, but what you learned um, isn't as clear, although you're combining ChatGPT with Notebook, so that's good. And this is how, okay, wait a second. So this is much better actually here. I just saw this. So that's kind of that's boosting you up to that kind of A- sort of thing. I'm still a little bit foggy on what was going on and what you learned. Um, but this is a very deep reflection, so that's good quality. And then information literacy summary here. So you 5 reliable resources, which is excellent. And then you put this quality. So that definitely, I think, is a nice summary. And I would say that's definitely A quality work. I agree with you. Here's your toolkit, so that's exciting. And oh, I see. It's still a reflection, right? So project activities. You're giving me a good lick. The reflections. Um, okay, that's a good list. Is this the? Yeah, I'm still wondering if there's a link to the actual product, right? So I'm curious about that. So that's kind of missing. That's sort of a question mark for me. And then this is Jenny. Oh, your class contributions. Um, Well, you were in class a long time. Yep. So that's that's solid. And then you have your resources. So you've put your added resource. So yeah, I'd say you're right on the right track. I'm feeling much better. I would just like a link to your project. You're somewhere between that sort of A minus level. Because I can't find your project. I'm concerned about that. A little deeper on reflections, but you're moving. I think very close to an A, and you definitely have shown A quality work.